Well, welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me again this afternoon. Well, I wanted to just start out by saying so much for a quiet September going in thus far, anyway. It's just a lot of opportunities, I must say, for bullish optimists like myself. A lot of rebounding today in the indexes. So, to me, that was excellent. But not only that, it was really good on the inflationary front. On Wednesday, we had the inflationary report came out. It was the lowest since February of 2021, and it was an interesting day in that as far as the S&P, it went down considerably. It had a range of about 150 points overall for the day. So it came down. It was like first, questioning why the large sell-off. But again, they bought it up back up, and it had a great day, as did the following next 2 days. So overall for the week, the S&P was up, it was up 4.02%, something like that. The NASDAQ was up as well, almost 6%, and the Dow up about 2.5%. So it was a good week. The S&P had 5 record days at a 0.5% increase. So just yeah, it was good, but like I said before, so much for a quiet September. So now we'll be waiting on what's going to be happening next week. Also this week, a couple earnings came out as expected. Both Adobe and Oracle beat expectations on their earnings, so that was excellent news for at least their industries, the tech side of that. But more than that, this week was interesting in that the Russell 2000, which is what we're going to be looking at today, something a little different. The Russell 2000 is the small cap stocks, and it is often based and very often correlated with the Dow, but more so than that, it's often related to economic growth and stability. And oftentimes you hear, mostly like the Magnificent Seven that you hear about, which are the NASDAQ, and then Microsoft, the Meta stocks, Alphabet, Google, Netflix. I think Tesla is even now in there, but they kind of take hold and they lead the pack, right? But now we're seeing some of the smaller cap, like I said, the small cap stocks. Now they're coming on board. And that is really good news for the overall market. So that's why I want to take a look at the Russell 2000. You might not be familiar with that, and you might not trade it very often. Now, a couple things about the Russell. It doesn't have the liquidity as some of the other indexes do, but it does have a lot of volatility. So if you like that as far as your opportunities of trading, a day trader or a scalper, there is a lot of volatility. And like I said, when you have a good move in the Russell, you can really take advantage of that. So what we're looking at here, let me go through my chart here. This is the daily chart on the Russell, and I have a couple patterns on here I wanted you to be aware of, and then we're going to dig down a little bit deeper into the timing of these. Now this is a channel that I had been watching, and you can see a channel pattern kind of goes back and forth in a particular trend. It can either be uptrend or a downtrend, obviously, depending, and it hits those levels, and then it retraces. So some people will trade those as, like I said, it hit the top, hit the bottom. I kind of watch out and wait for a breakout of that, which we did have the week before last. We had a breakdown of that channel pattern. As you can see, a long bearish candle here, and then it kept moving. But now what we're watching for, this was this week, and like I said, the Russell did very well this week. It was like up over 2%, I believe, which was unusual for the Russell. But it started out the week very, very hesitant. Like I said, a lot of hesitation, as you can see in this pattern here. We had a couple hammer patterns, but there was still a lot of bulls on board, and then it just took off on Thursday, and Friday it had an excellent day. Now what we'll be watching is a couple price levels here. We'll have a retracement to this level, where again that consolidation, or we'll come back up to the top of our channel. So that's what I'm going to be watching for on the Russell. Let's break that down, like I said, into a 4-hour chart over here we have, and then we have a 1-hour even chart. Now the 4-hour chart, I did draw a Fibonacci on that. Now I don't know if it's going to continue, as nobody does. I don't know what's going to happen on Monday, if it's going to break above that Fibonacci and do an extension on that, or if it might retrace. So that's what we'll be waiting for, and to see what patterns we have that established for that. It could come down to the 50 here or the 0.618 levels. So that's what we'll be watching. Now, one thing also is interesting, and one thing why we wanted to take that over to a 1-hour chart, is that this level here on the 1-hour chart, it's about 2106, 2107, which is our 0.618 level on our 4-hour Fibonacci. Okay, so that's one thing we will be watching. So I wanted you to also be aware of this pattern. This is a falling 3 pattern. Now this is on Friday. Now the falling 3 will typically then, it's a continuation pattern of the trend. So, but then the last hour of the day it did pull back a bit, which usually in the last hour of the day, if it was trending up, there is a sell-off of positions at the end of the day to get out of those, so you're not holding them over. So we'll be watching there. So those are a couple of price levels that I want to keep an eye on for Monday. Now, of course, as you know, the big thing everybody's going to have their eyes on is Wednesday on the Fed minutes and the announcement of the rate reduction. Right now, the sentiment is that it will be reduced by a full 50 percentage points. No, 0.50 basis points, so a half percentage point. So we'll see what that actually comes to fruition on Wednesday, if that is indeed the case. And so, like I said, all eyes on that. That's pretty much what's going to be happening this next week. We have a couple earnings coming out. We have FedEx and General Mills, but I think that they will take a back seat to what the Fed will be saying on Wednesday. Also, on Friday, this is interesting, on Friday the 20th, this is called the quadruple or triple witching Friday. It's often announced as, because the options expiry, the futures expiry, they all happen on the same day, on that third Friday of the month, and that happens like 4 times a year on the end of the quarter. So a lot of action and a lot of anticipation for Friday to see what's going to happen as far as the shorts and the longs. So keep an eye on that on Friday. Be aware that might take place at the end of the day on Friday. So if you are trading in the late afternoon, be cautious of that. Remember, risk management, trade with traction, not distraction. Thank you very much again for joining me. Take good care.